welcome to or welcome back to Book and Prejudice. My name is Matt and today I'm bringing you a bit of a different video because I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I read during the summer, which basically is June, July and August, as well as potting a little herb garden. You might be saying, why? Because I'm running out of time and I want to get it done before the end of the bank holiday, which ends the day that you're seeing this. So here we are, gardening and literature. Woo! But yeah, I thought that, to break up the monotony of everything, we could do it this way. And this way as well, you see my new bookshelves, which I will do a tour of soon, hopefully, if everything goes to plan. So yeah, let's get started. I have here all of the things that I'm gonna need. I went to the shops and I got them. We have this thing called perlite, which is to give air to the soil. They said it was very good. And we have soil, a lot of soil. And then I'll just put that there for now. We have the four herbs that I'm gonna plant. We're planting oregano, we're planting mint, we're planting rosemary, and we're planting basil for pasta. That's the only thing that I've ever used basil for. And then I got these, which are like little tags. There's 50 of them. I have a lot of plants, so I thought I could write them down. And I have water for the plant and water for myself. So let's start, shall we? We shall start mixing the soils. Let me take off my engagement ring because we don't want to win that. They said we can mix everything in here. So while I do that, one second please. Okay, oh god, that makes such a big mess. This is like plastic, which is really convenient at this point. Okay, so this is the soil. Give it upward for a second. This is the perlite. We need to okay, everything's open now, so we have to commit. They said that this was kind of like a volcanic thingy. Very exciting to try it on. But while we mix it, I'm going to talk about the first book that I read, which is A Gathering of Shadows by V. Schwab. I give this book 5 stars. I love this book. I thought it was amazing. Oh, I'm going to mix this. I should probably get a bucket. One second, please. I'm going to go grab a bucket. Of some sort. One second. We have a bucket. Now we can go back to talking about books. So the first book that I read, as I said, what did I put? Oh, was A Gathering of Shadows by V. Schwab. And out of the 3 books in that series, that was most definitely my favorite one. And the reason why it was my favorite one was because it was just so fun. I found it hilarious. I thought that the main characters were on point. I thought that they were super fun. It was really entertaining as well. Like very, very entertaining to read. And I really liked it. I think that as well. I read this one before I went on my reading slump, so that really helped. But I just really liked it. I thought it was really fun to read. I think that V. Schwab does really well from the 2.5 books that I've read of hers. I got dust on my face. I think that she did very well with the whole broody teenager situation, which is great. I don't particularly read books like that very often anymore, but she still did a great job. So I gave it 5 stars. I honestly did. I loved it. I thought it was super fun to read. If anyone knows anything about gardening and they have a better way of doing this, I feel like I should have put like a little bit of soil and then a little bit of the perlite and then a little bit of soil and then a little bit of the perlite and like that forever. But oh well, what can we do about that at this point? Literally nothing. Everything's already here. So yeah, I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. I thought it was great. I'm not gonna be able to hold books anymore, so I'm just gonna pop them in the screen next to me. Yes. So the next book that I read was A Gathering of Light by B. Schwab, and reading is an extent of the word that maybe I shouldn't be using because I didn't finish it. I don't think I will. I didn't like the book. I thought it was terrible, frankly. I found it very boring. I didn't think it was a fun book. Okay, I think that's mixed well enough. So I haven't actually finished A Gathering of Light by B. Schwab, and if I'm very honest, I highly doubt that I will, because it was super duper, I don't know, maybe it was just because I read the second one, and I thought the second one was just really good. I just really did think the second one was excellently written. So the second one, I decided that it was not worth reading the whole series, but rather I just wanted to end on a high note. So I think I read like this much until like 100 pages of it, and I was done. I was like, nope, not liking this at all. Just so you guys know, now we're gonna put the soil in the tray thing, just like this. I don't know if this is too much perlite and not enough soil, but we'll see. So yeah, V. Schwab, I've read a lot of people that agree with me though. Like on Goodreads and stuff, a lot of people are like, yeah, the second one should have been the last one of the series. So I decided that there was no point of me actually putting myself through that, when the reality is that I probably wasn't gonna like it. And I don't have to read the whole series. I can just finish the series in a high, which is what I chose to do. So for me, the Darker Shade of Magic series finishes with the second one. Because the first one as well, like I thought this first one was really good as well. I think that's good enough for this one. So I was very happy to just like kind of read those two and just not read anything else besides that, you know. But I don't know, if anyone has read the third one and actually liked it, please tell me that. I could do with like probably some motivation. I'm sure that you guys can convince me to further read the books. So we've created a little layer of here. So what we're gonna do now is just gently water the whole thing a little bit, like get it all moist. And talk about If We Were Villains by Emil Rio. Now, this book, that was a fucking awesome book. Pardon my French, but it was amazing. I loved it. We read it for the Page Turners, my book club with my friends, and we all liked it. I don't think everyone finished it, but everyone that did finish it loved it. I think my friend and I are the ones that finished it. The ending of the book itself, I was very unhappy with it, and I discussed it with the one friend that finished it on time, and we were both like, okay, well, that was a bit of a disappointment, because it was like, well, I have my theories. I don't want to spoil them, but I have my theories. But anyways, let's talk about the actual book itself and not the theories. I found the book to be extremely, this is Basil, so we're gonna start with the Basil. I found the actual book to be so interesting because of the dynamics. I don't know how familiar you are about Shakespeare, but this book takes place in a very exclusive school, like art school, in which like you can either be an artist, a performer, a musician, a writer, but you have to have some sort of talent doing something. So these are so cute. These are very tiny though. I don't know how many to put. I'm just gonna put this many. So these are all very talented artists who have very different backgrounds within their family, and like people, some of them are not supportive of what they're doing, some of them are very supportive of what they're doing. So I really like that, and it, once again, it seems very similar to Donna Tartt's A Secret History because of the criticism it has towards high society versus lower society. That was a very, very poignant part of the book. You had people whose parents were very supportive of them and people whose parents were not very supportive of them. And, you know, at the end of the day, that does shape who you are. It should be enough. This is rosemary, by the way, you guys. So we're gonna do the rosemary next. That should be good enough. And I really liked it. And then I also, on another note, loved the fact that it was written like a screenplay. So I don't know if you guys remember from Mint. From high school and stuff, when you would do an elementary school, when you would put on plays for the school and everything, they are written sort of like Juliet, 2 dots, the line. Romeo, 2 dots, the line. And this book was done in the same way, which I thought was really, really interesting because it gives it a bit more of a realism towards a story that it might not have otherwise. So like, it looks more like a play, if that makes sense. The reason why we're doing the mint is because this house is gonna be full of spiders in the winter, and mint is very good to keep them out. So, oh, those are tiny. So yeah, that's what we thought of that. Those were my thoughts of If We Were Villains. It was a great book. I love the way it was written. I know a lot of people have been like, it's a copycat from A Secret History, and to some extent I would agree with that, but then at the same time it's nothing like The Secret History in the sense of it is so, the conflict of the book is very different to the one in The Secret History. And honestly, in the same sense as Donna Tartt makes you love all of the characters regardless of their background, this is oregano, so we're doing the last one now. In the same way that Donna Tartt makes you love all of the characters, you don't have that same feeling towards the bad guy of this book. I hated him from the get-go. I was like, yes, you're the one that dies. You deserve to die because you're a bit of an idiot. Do I have water stuff now? So those were my opinions on If We Were Villains. I really liked it. I read it a long time ago though, so I'm not sure if I remember 100% the whole book, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was good. Let's cover this up with more soil now. Okay, the next book I read, I loved it. If you've been around this channel for a little bit, you know that I love Isabel Allende. She's a Chilean writer. She's won Nobel Prizes. I think she's won Nobel Prizes at least. She should have, at the very least. She's a great author, and she writes very well, magical realism, and very well as well. The South American experience. Obviously, she's South American. Her uncle or someone in her family was a President Allende from Chile, and so this book talks about a mixture between the Chilean Revolution, a lot about the Spanish Revolution, but I'll tell you what it's about now. It starts in Spain, in Barcelona, when Franco is about to win the war. And it kind of narrates the journey that a family has, a person has, and his family, and how they live through it and everything. Let's see if this works. Okay, I don't know if I did too much water. Okay. And I loved it, first of all, because she used an actual Spanish person who had these experiences. That's done. I'm gonna put like the names now. She used an actual Spanish person and asked for his experiences
when narrating the story, which I really appreciated. Frankly, I thought that was very, very nice of her to not just make it all up, but rather tell the story of a family. And at the same time, it shows the dramatism of the Spanish Civil War. You know, the main character goes from Barcelona, crosses to France, is stuck in a concentration camp, and then from the concentration camp he goes somehow into the boat, the Winnipeg, that was chartered by Neruda, Pablo Neruda, the poet, and manages to get into Chile, goes to Chile, war explodes in Chile, leaves Chile or tries to leave Chile. Yes, I think they do leave Chile. And how this affected him and his wife and his family, his kids and everything. And I think that was just really interesting. I love the book so much. It's a very beautiful love story towards Chile and towards immigration. And you know, especially, obviously I read this back in July, but now with everything going on in Afghanistan, you can't help but think, holy crap, you know, like, this is happening. This wasn't just something that happened in 1939. This is actively happening now. And I found it very poignant, very, very relevant towards the times that we were living in. I think that it was just so interesting. And I think that Isabel Allende knows how to write really well about sadness in a way that you almost don't realize that you're sad. So I think that that's something that she came through with in this book, if I'm honest with you. I just think she did a fantastic job. I really do. I think that it was really, really well written and very sad. And you can tell that there's a real story behind the book. It's obviously not 100% true. That wouldn't make for very good literature. Most people don't have lives worth telling a story for. But it still was good enough that you felt compelled to read more about them. And I really liked it. I thought it was fantastic. I thought that I really would recommend it. I gave it 5 stars, and I would really, really recommend you read this book as well, because I loved it so much. Maybe I should have read it in Spanish, but it was a gift, and also the cover is so pretty. The next book I read, let me go get my aloe, because I have an aloe that needs to be repotted anyway, so let me just go get that since I'm already making a mess in this house today. The next book that I read was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I read this book out of love towards my partner, because he really likes it. It's his favorite book, and I loved it. I really did. I thought it was a fantastic book. The book that I read, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I started it with a lot of skepticism because I'm not a sci-fi person, never liked sci-fi. Like, I've never actually liked sci-fi in my life. I don't read sci-fi. If you look at the books that I've read in my Goodreads and stuff, none of them are science fiction. But I have to admit, I really like it. I gave it 5 stars because, first of all, out of love, to do stupid things as well, but also because it was so fun. Like, there's no other way of describing this book. It was just fun. Here we go. I thought it was really, really fun and really, really nicely written. I thought that they were bringing topics into the light that are very important conversations that need to be had, and they were doing that. And you know, this book is quite old. Like, this is a very old book. I think it came out in the 1980s, maybe. So the fact that I still found things within it that made it super relevant, I think says wonders about the actual author. Let's see if we can pick this up. Yeah, here we go. I think it says a lot. Oh, goodness me, what's going on here, buddy? about the author, and it says a lot about how the book was written, and it says a lot about the problems that we had back then that we still have today, that we're still faced with, that we still have to work around and work with, you know. Okay. As a society, we're still struggling with believing that we are the bee's knees, when in reality we really aren't anything like that. We really are just a group of people floating in a rock that at any point could be hit by a meteor and then we would die. That's what we are. So it was a beautiful reminder of how fragile humanity is and how little humans are within the spectrum of the world, but also how important it is to live your life and to be happy. And it'd be great if you would like kind of stay straight. So yeah, I give it 5 stars. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was great. And the last book that I read was The Pursuit of Love by Nancy Mitford. And I will be the first to admit that I read this book out of pure copying Emma Angeline, the YouTuber. I would definitely recommend her. She's fantastic. These are all watching. And she talks really highly about Nancy Mitford and her books, and she mentioned that The Pursuit of Love and most of Nancy Mitford's literature was very good for, I think she said it was like a fancier pool read. That's how she put it. And you know, I was in the pool and I wanted to read something and I wanted to feel fancy, and I loved it. I think I actually want to get the other 3 books, because that's kind of like a 4 kind of tier situation in which she wrote 4 books following the same family, the Ackenley family. This one follows Linda. There's another one called Don't Tell Alfred that follows Fanny. Another one follows Fanny, and there's another one within those that kind of has characters from Don't Tell Alfred within the book. And I thought that was fantastic. I really did. I thought that they were really fun. The only thing that I would say, if you're reading Nancy Mitford, you need to understand she's taking the piss. This is a woman that was raised in a very high class society. I don't know if you guys have heard about the Mitfords. The Mitford sisters are something else. Because there was a communist, there was a Nazi, there was a writer, there was an actress, there was a fascist, and they all just kind of had very different lives, and for the longest time they wouldn't speak to one another because, you know, Nancy Mitford was writing all of these books basically criticizing them. But I think it's great. I think that they're really good books. I really enjoy The Pursuit of Love. BBC has now had a show going on. I'm gonna call this plant Alice. Alice Diallo. Yes, I know that's basic. And then I know that The Pursuit of Love has now become an ABC show, which is kind of cool. I really want to watch it at some point, but I haven't had time yet. But I really liked it. It was like a bit more than pool read. Like, it was a bit more than like those books that you buy to read at the beach and you never read again. So if you ever go on holiday and don't know what to read and you want to read something that's maybe not like really complicated, but also a bit more complicated than the classic literature that you find in resorts, then I would definitely recommend Nancy Mitford, The Pursuit of Love, and I will let you guys know more when I finish the rest of the books. But yeah, I'm done plotting and planting, and I'm done speaking about books, so I'm gonna stop this video now. If you liked it, please don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Book with Prejudice, where I will be posting more regular content about books as well. If you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe, comment, all of that, and I will see you guys next Monday. Bye bye!